Marcus Warren is a talented individual. Not only is he a financial planner, he is also the CEO and founder of Warren Wealth Management. He's a podcast host. He's an author. It goes on, and he joins me now. Marcus, welcome back to the show. Did you miss me while I was gone on vacation?
I did.
Immensely, right?
Right. I mean, would you say it was, we're best friends week or day or something like that?
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I lost my best friend for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying?
So you're feeling it.
Yes.
I'm feeling it with you. Okay, good. This is a good thing, folks. Here we go. We're getting that connection going. You need to get connected to Marcus Warren on a very serious note if you are at or near retirement. And today we're going to talk about one of your many talents. You're an author. So you've got a book called The Retirement Playbook, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you talk about, when you talk about retirement and getting ready for retirement, you refer to it as mountain climbing.
Yes.
So explain that a little bit if you would.
Yeah, so in my book, the Retirement Playbook, I compare retirement to mountain climbing. And the reason I do that is because, and I actually call it the Everest effect. I call this whole thing the Everest effect. And so what basically happens is, you know, as you're going up the mountain, you're just trying to plan for retirement. You have that job, you're working, you're putting your money in, so forth and so on. And then you finally make it up to the summit, right? You make it to the peak of the mountain. And now it's time to make that mountain descent. And so now you start to go down the mountain. And that's when we see a lot of issues and concerns happen. And so I call it the Everest effect because I looked it up on the Google machine, and as people are going up the mountain, they're generally fine. But 80% of accidents and deaths happen on the way down.
Interesting.
And that is what I see with retirement. People are generally fine on the way up, but once they make that transition from working to retirement, that's where we see a lot of the accidents happen.
Wow, yeah, I had no idea, but now I like the comparison, because whenever I think of mountain climbing, I say, okay, the danger is climbing. Yeah. But you're saying, no, most of the accidents happen on the way down.
I couldn't believe it either. Statistically, 80% of the accidents and deaths happen on the way down.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of phases you talk about in retirement. You talk about an accumulation phase, I guess, when you're gathering your wealth or trying to do so. And then you're talking about a distribution phase, I guess, when, hey, it's time for me to enjoy my life a little bit. Talk about that.
Yeah, and so that upward climb of the mountain, that is the accumulation phase. That's basically when you're working for that company, you're getting that paycheck from that employer, and you're really concerned about the return on your investment. You want that solid, good rate of return. Like I said, then you make it to the top. And that's when that transition happens. Also on the way up too, the stock market, right? We know what's going on with the stock market. The stock market always does what the market does, which it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. However, when you're in that accumulation phase, when the market is down like it is now, it's actually a good thing. Why? Because you're buying more of the market at cheaper discounted prices. Then you make it to the top of the mountain, right? Now it's time to transition from working, that accumulation phase. Now you're transitioning over to the distribution phase. And like I said, we see a lot of the accidents happen on the way down because things change, right? It's a whole different mindset. Number one, you stop getting that paycheck from that employer, and now you're basically responsible for that income while you're in retirement. Also, you should still be concerned about the return on your investment, but you should be more concerned about the return of your investment, that you're going to have it and it's going to be there all the way throughout retirement. It'll basically last as long as you do. And then, of course, the market is going to do what the market does. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. However, when the market is down and you're in that distribution phase, it's a lot different than when you were in that accumulation phase, because now you're pulling money out. And so if the market is down 10, 15% like it is right now, and you have to take a distribution, then you can see that nest egg deplete a lot quicker. So it's a whole different skill set going from the accumulation phase to the distribution phase.
I'm glad you used the word skill set, because I wonder about that from your side. Being a financial planner and someone who expertise lies in retirement, you have to. It's a different kind of skill set when you're dealing with accumulation and distribution phases, strategies, and all that. For you, is that challenging? Yeah,
well, it is, and really, it's even more challenging for people who are close to retirement or in retirement. Because we're talking about mountain climbing. So as that retirement Sherpa, if you will, who kind of guides you along. There's a lot of retirement Sherpas out there, retirement advisors out there, who may be good in helping clients get to the top. But like I said, it's a totally different skill set and a lot of different things that happen on the way down. And whoever you may have used to get you to the top, you may need to make sure that they understand retirement, they understand retirement planning, and all that goes with it, because if they don't, you may need to switch and have someone who has that skill set and is going to be able to get you down that retirement mountain a lot more smooth.
All right, I'm glad I have your expert advice. So let's talk about maybe some retirement planning pitfalls, some mistakes maybe that people make, or something that they should watch out for, Marcus.
Yeah, so to stay in this theme, there are a lot of pitfalls that happen on the way down. And just like I'm saying, you have to make sure that you're working with somebody that understands things like, of course, there's stock market risk, which we're having now, right? The volatility of the market's down. If you have to take a distribution, you can see your nest egg deplete a lot quicker. You have to have somebody who understands Social Security, when to take it, how to maximize it. Of course, income planning. Retirement's all about income. How much are you going to pull from your nest egg? How much do you want to leave to your kids and grandkids, right? That's estate planning. That's legacy planning. Medicare, how to claim Medicare. What about Medicare supplements, different insurances? Of course, inflation. Inflation is huge right now. And then that last one on the way down, it probably should be right there on the top, are taxes, right? Taxes are a huge expense once you're in retirement, because most people have their money saved in those tax-deferred buckets. IRAs, 401ks, company retirement plans, and those haven't been taxed yet. And they are taxed when you pull that money out. And so what most people fail to realize, because they've been told this myth their whole retirement lives, which is, hey, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, don't worry about it, so forth or so on. And what we have come to find out is, because most people have their money saved in those tax-deferred buckets that have never been taxed, they are really surprised that they haven't dropped down in their tax bracket, and they're actually, and a lot of times, paying more taxes than they anticipated.
So when you get these statements that, you know, involve your 401k or whatever, and you see, here's what I have,
yeah.
I think a lot of people are under the misconception that this is what I actually have.
Right.
Okay, and you're saying, no. So how do you gauge that? If you're maybe 3 or 4 years away from retirement, how do you gauge what should I do here? How can I plan for that?
Really, it goes from dealing with an advisor or starting to work with an advisor when you're in that retirement red zone. Like you said, 3 to 4 years before retirement, you need to make sure that you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and you're working with a good financial advisor, financial planner, who, one, of course, is going to know about investments, things of that nature, but more importantly, is going to know about those things those pitfalls that I talked about that can happen on the way down that retirement mountain. Someone who is astute in Social Security, Medicare, taxes, you have to make sure that you're working with that right person.
Marcus, what demographic do you talk to? So we talk about at or near retirement. Do you mainly talk to those people who are, as we said, 3 to 4 years away from retirement, and then those who are currently in retirement, or are those who plan ahead, who are really proactive? Do you talk to them as well?
Well, we have clients that are on that full spectrum, right? But our main bread and butter are people who are already retired, who have been retired for a year or two. We do, of course, work with a lot of people who are in that retirement red zone, that 2 to 3 years away from retirement, and we start to make sure that we have, you know, everything in place, so when they make that transition, it's not a big shock. So we always recommend, when you're in that retirement red zone, you need to sit down with a good fiduciary advisor, find out where you are, and then if you're not where you want to be, start to make those changes to get there.
Okay, which works me into my next question for you. For those who are watching Marcus, and he always gives very sound advice that you can apply, if they'd like to meet with you one-on-one, because everyone's situation is different as far as, you know, what they have, 401ks, et cetera, stock, right, whatever. They want to meet with you one-on-one. How does it work? They want a conversation with you and find out if the fit is good for them, if the fit is good for you. Yeah,
so we've set up a line. It's called, if you go to talktomarcus.com, my calendar comes up. And we have quick 15-minute phone calls where we can find out where the client is, where they want to be, and then we can see if we're a good fit. One of the things, you know, we know that we're not right for everyone, but for the most part, we want to make sure that we are a good fit and we can get you from where you are to where you need to be. Because a lot of times we'll find out that, hey, you're not really in that space where you need our assistance, or a lot of times we find out that, yeah, you are in that space where you need our assistance and we can help. And so that quick 15-minute phone call gets us there.
All right, and I encourage you also to listen to Marcus's podcast. I mentioned that he was a podcast host and an author with his book. So for folks who want to listen to you, what platform should they listen to, Marcus?
It's a podcast, so wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, what else is out there? Apple Podcast.
Is Amazon into the podcast business yet? I don't even know.
They have their fingers in everything. I'm sure they're doing something. Right.
All right, so again, you can listen to Marcus Warren via the podcast. Now, coming up, Marcus, here's what I like about you. Okay, so Marcus doesn't mind if I throw him a curve. Right. There's a lot of people I've had on this show, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, quite a few of them politicians who say, don't ask me this or don't do this. You've never said that. You've said, throw anything at me. This is what I do.
Yep.
So if you don't mind, in the next segment, I have a list of things that people should know before they go into retirement, before they consider retirement. Do you find it common that people now want to retire earlier, or is that something that's always existed? Everyone goes, I am finished before I thought I would be, or is it the opposite? Do people say, I want to work a little bit longer?
You know, we kind of see both sides of the fence. We have people who have been counting down the days to their early retirement, and they want to get out of there. And then we have, clients who really aren't concerned about retirement. They want to do something through their last days, so to speak. And so, people aren't too concerned about early retirement. People just want to make sure that they can retire and they're going to be okay in retirement.
There we go. So coming up next here, I am going to throw Marcus a few curves. You may be interested in this. Some of this stuff we've been over, and I'll try to avoid that. But some of the topics we haven't talked about, I'm going to discuss with Marcus next. So if you're at or near retirement age, or you know someone who is, hang in there with us. This will be good information. There's his book. Where's the book available, Marcus?
Amazon. We talk about Amazon.
Here we go. Fingers and everything.
Get it. Go get it.
Go get that book, The Retirement Playbook. All right, we'll take a little break here. Back with Marcus Warren, and then coming up, summer beauty tips.